deals with ownership. So if you own your mind, then you have the ability to make it do what you want it to do. If you don't have ownership of your mind, then I guarantee you somebody else will. Because we live in a society that you have, not only do you have the government itself trying to instill ideas into your mind so that they could have ownership of your mind, but a lot of the people that you meet are constantly running game and trying to manipulate so that they can gain ownership of your mind.
Play with him. Bang. He ain't gon' play. Bang. I put the racks on a nigga, got dogs and cats on a nigga, look just like a massacre hit him, look like a Kardashian with him, packing a scrap in the middle. I wanna shoot, he won't grapple a nigga. Nothing alike, we differ. I be finessing and pressing. Who gon' be my next contestant? Boy, you bitch gon' catch a blessing. I want it for questioning, cause I'm big chesting it. Strikes on me like I be reffing it. Pull up on your residence. Hoodlum take over 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 your. Hoodlum take over your.
Peace and power. Control of thought. The ability to control your own mind and focus your thoughts constructively. One does this by controlling the outside stimuli that one entertains. Things like the conversations you engage in, the music you listen to, what you watch on TV, and what you read. This is the first step to self-mastery. To control your thoughts, you must properly organize your worldview. This will allow your mind to become structured, organized, and focused so that it will be a more sufficient weapon during your journey of life. You must question and analyze your current life philosophy and ask yourself if it has been a benefit or a hindrance to your progression. Another key to control the thought would be to meditate. Meditation is the organized practice of stillness and conscious awareness. Sometimes you can meditate on great ideas or words on a page. Other times you can meditate on nothing. The key is to control your ability to think. Now, what I just spit for y'all was the first virtue in the 10 virtues of a student. I've talked many times before on this channel and many different videos about the manhood development class called the Huru Shule that me and a few comrades and brothers of mine developed while we were in hell. You know, not to get into a full, long, drawn-out detail about it, but we was placed in a position based chiefly on our own activities in our youth. We were placed in a position that was supposed to destroy every ounce of creation and self-loving and power from us, and we didn't let that happen. What we did is we sat down and we created a structure to not only build ourselves, but to share with and build the other brothers that was around us. And I think it was beneficial and sufficient. What I'm going to start doing, and that is the reason I created this channel. I created this channel for the purpose of building and sharing knowledge and hopefully getting feedback from those who have the knowledge so that we can put the information out that will allow man to evolve to his highest level, to the pinnacle of manhood, in which I think is him manifesting his kinghood, manifesting his God consciousness. And that's the purpose of this channel, and that's the purpose of these lessons. Now, when we created a school, we created a system in which you earned your way into the school, into the university, into the manhood development classes. You had to earn your way. And the way that you did that is you had to learn all 10 virtues verbatim and be able to spit them back from the top of the head just the way I did with number 1. Now, I haven't spit these virtues in a long time, so I might have got a word or two wrong. I don't think I did, but I might have got a word or two wrong, and I'm pretty sure that the brothers wouldn't mind correcting me if I did. But you have to be able to spit all 10 the way I just spit number 1. What I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to build on and I'm going to break down what number 1 means. You know, to do a little history real quick, the 10 virtues come from ancient Kemet, what the laymen call Egypt. It was said that in ancient times, the first world universities, when people used to travel far and wide to come to those universities to learn and be initiated in those ancient teachings, the only way that they would be allowed into those schools, into those august bodies, was they had to demonstrate that they had these 10 virtues. Now, the word virtue literally means strength or manliness, and it evolved to mean moral character. So you had to show these strengths of character. They had to see them in you in order to allow you into the school, because they didn't want to give this powerful knowledge to somebody who could go out and create devilishment on the planet. They didn't want to do that. So you had to demonstrate it. And the way that we did it is we required you to gain these virtues, but you have to gain them like you have to gain everything else in a way that allows you to manifest them from your character. And I believe that the way to do that is to gain it in threes. So you must gain the knowledge of the virtue, then you must gain the wisdom of the virtue, and then you must gain the understanding of the virtue. And what that means is this: when you have knowledge of it, you're able to spit it the way I just did at the beginning of the video. You're able to spit it. That's the knowledge of the virtue. The wisdom of the virtue is your ability to live it. When life brings a problem upon you, when life meets you with a situation where you need to come up with a solution, it is your knowledge that's supposed to come out of you automatically. The wisdom of the virtue, or any knowledge that you've learned, is when you act on it, when you live it, when you build on it every day in every way, when you walk it, talk it, when you decorate your home with it. It's everywhere, it's all around you, and it's permeating out of your pores. That's the wisdom of the virtue. Then the understanding of the virtue is when you're able to take something complicated and break it down so simple that somebody else can gain knowledge of the virtue, which is number one. So we got knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. When you have understanding, you can spit it back to a person in a way that they can gain knowledge and then start on their travel to gaining wisdom and understanding. And this is the whole concept of the each one teach one principle. Because once you gain knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, you spit understanding to another, and they gain knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, and they spit understanding to another, and so forth and so on. Anyway, so the first virtue is control of thought. And the very first line in the virtue says the ability to control your own mind. Now think about what that sentence is saying. And I'm going to build on this real quick, and I'm going to break this down. And not only am I going to give you the virtues, but I'm going to give you the principles that go with this virtue. And then I'm going to give you the vice, the opposite of this virtue. Because sometimes the best way to understand something is to understand what it's not. So the first line in the virtue says the ability to control your own mind. And ability is a power. It means that you can do something. You can operate. So you gain the power to control your own mind. Own deals with ownership. So if you own your mind, then you have the ability to make it do what you want it to do. If you don't have ownership of your mind, then I guarantee you somebody else will. Because we live in a society that you have, not only do you have the government itself trying to instill ideas into your mind so that they could have ownership of your mind, but a lot of the people that you meet are constantly running game and trying to manipulate so that they can gain ownership of your mind. The goal is for you to own your own mind. And one of the first ways to go about doing that is to actually understand your paradigm, to understand your worldview. A paradigm is a worldview. Think of it like this: a lens in which you view the world through. You got to understand something. This is very important to know, that there is no reality without the mind. The mind takes everything that you have contact with, every sensation, every stimuli that you come in contact with, and the mind takes that stimuli, runs it through its own internal programming, and makes sense out of everything you see. If that's happening, then we got to understand that the way that the mind runs it through that internal programming is based on your paradigm, your worldview. And this is simple. If your worldview is incorrect, then your understanding of reality will be incorrect. And your responses to reality will also be incorrect. So that's why it says you must question and analyze your current worldview and ask yourself if it has been a benefit or a hindrance to your progression. You have to look at the things that you believe in and really ask yourself, has this been a benefit to me, or has it been a hindrance to me? Has it hurt me, or has it helped me? And it says that another key to control the thought would be to meditate. The word meditate comes from I believe it's the Latin medere, which literally means to remedy or to heal. So you got to ask yourself, what meditation means to remedy, to heal. What is a remedy? When you're sick, you're looking for a remedy. You know, when you're hurt or have a wound, you're looking for that wound to be healed. So you got to ask yourself, what am I looking for to be healed? What you're looking to be healed is your scattered mind. You know, you done heard before that all people think, but all people don't think. All people have thought drifts. Thinking is a concentrated action. So we think, and our mind goes out. Have you ever been sitting up having a conversation with someone and they're talking to you, but instead of listening to what they're saying, you're thinking of what you're going to say next, or you're thinking about what you're going to be doing next, thinking about the TV show you want to watch, and you really ain't heard nothing that they said, and you might even get as rude as to cut that person off. That's a person that needs that mental healing. You don't know how to be patient enough to allow a person to give full birth to a complete thought before you give a response. Same thing with people who, when you try to read, if you ain't used to reading and you never sat down and gave yourself that calm, if you've never done it, when you first start reading, you're going to fall asleep. The reason you're going to fall asleep because your mind equates stillness with it's time to go to bed, because this is the only time you've ever been still. So this is why meditation becomes so important. And it says sometimes you can meditate on great ideas or words on a page, like what is God or who am I? Those are great ideas. Or words on a page, books that you may read. Other times you can meditate on nothing. You know, the great masters say that the greatest level of meditation is to bring complete stillness to the mind, to clear it. And then you can hear the universe talking to you. And this is what this virtue, control of thought, is trying to say to us. And the last line in the virtue says, the key is to control your ability to think. That's the key. So the question is, what is it a key to? Because when we think of a key opens doors. When we think of a key has the ability to open a lock, which allows us to gain access to something else. So it says that the key is to control your ability to think. Once you gain control of thought, or gain the ability to once you can control your ability to think, you have been granted a key. The key moves you to the next virtue, which is number 2, which is control of action. Once you control your own thoughts, then you start really controlling your own actions. And I'm not going to get into that right now, because all I want to build on right now is the first virtue, control of thought. Now let me build with y'all. I'm going to give y'all I'm going to give you the principles, because you have a virtue and then you have principles. The first things first. Principles are extremely important in order to build a virtue, which is a strength. So in order to make a virtue a habit, a normal response to dealing with anything that you come across in life, you have to first start practicing these principles. So the 3 principles that allows you to manifest the virtue or control of thought is a paradigm shift. That's one principle. Meditation, which is another principle. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to read them for you. There's 3 principles. It's meditation, paradigm shift, and reason. And I'm for the build with this on y'all. I'm for to read this from you. And I think I said most of this in this quick breakdown, but I want to make sure we get it all. I want to make sure we on point. So to meditate, the meditation comes from the Latin medere, which means to remedy. That means that meditation heals or cures some kind of ailment. The illness that we are dealing with is an unfocused and undisciplined mind. The chaotic mind is what creates most of our problems. Meditation brings the mind to focus on a particular point of attention. So it allows us to heal that wandering, constant wandering that our mind does. Sometimes you can't sleep at night because your mind is constantly wandering, worrying and stressing and thinking about the next moves. The next is paradigm shift. As I just explained, matter of fact, I ain't even going to read it because I pretty much explained it. I pretty much explained what paradigm was. Paradigm is a worldview or a lens in which you view the world through. And once you start to analyze your paradigm, your current worldview, whatever it is, whether that worldview is Christianity, Crippin, whatever it is, once you analyze and see it's not getting you where you need to go, then you have to be strong enough to make a paradigm shift, meaning that you have to choose a new life philosophy. And last but not least is reason. I love the word reason. One of my favorite words in the English lexicon. I love the word reason. Reason, the definition of reason according to Webster says to calculate and think. That's what reason means. It's crazy that in the Bible there's one point where God even tells a prophet, he said, let us reason together. And that's a powerful thing when you think about it, when the creator of the universe tells a man to let us reason together. Let us use our ability to think logically. But it says, Webster's definition 2a says the power of comprehending. The word comprehend means to understand or to grasp mentally. Inferring, the word infer means to conclude based on facts or premise. or thinking. The word thinking means to determine by reflection. So what we're dealing with, we're starting to understand that reason means to think in a rational way, to think mathematically. Reason is the ability to think mathematically. When a person uses reason to make decisions, this is called being rational. The root of the word rational is ratio, which means the relationship in quantity, amount, or size between two or more things. Mathematics are rigorously exact and precise. To think mathematically means to be mentally precise and to use this precision to make decisions. So these are the three principles that go along with the virtues. I call them the blessings to the virtues. So you have the 10 virtues, then you have the blessings to the virtues, which allow you to get a deeper understanding of how not only to apply the virtue to yourself, but how to live out the virtue. And then I said sometimes the best way to understand what something is to understand what it's not. So we have the 10 vices of the rebellious. A vice is a weakness. A virtue is a strength. The word vice literally means weakness. Let me read you the definition. Vice from the Latin vitium, which means fault or flaw or moral depravity or corruption, wickedness, an abnormal behavior pattern in a domestic animal detrimental to its health and its uselessness. And its usefulness, I mean. So here are the 10. I'm not going to give you all 10 of the virtues of the rebellious, but I'm only going to give you one because we're dealing with virtue number 1, which is the control of thought. So the opposite of control of thought is mania. And the definition of mania is excitement manifested by physical and psychological hyperactivity. They call it ADHD and ADD and all this stuff here, but it's you never learning to control your mind. Disorganization behavior and prone to mood swings, excessive and unreasonable enthusiasm. A manic person not only lacks the ability to control their thoughts, but they do not recognize the need to. This person moves completely off of impulse and usually lacks forethought. They usually lack the ability to think ahead, to pre-think. And I'm gonna just like I just did 4 parts of breaking down the scales of information development, which is extremely powerful understanding for a builder to have. If you consider yourself a conscious person, a woke person, a builder, scales of information development is something that you truly need to understand. But I'm going to go through the virtues. Why? Because we're going to start building more on the Huru Shule on this channel. I have brothers that are walking out of prison as we speak, that want to continue their studies and want to continue building. I'm going to start putting a lot of those sessions on the channel. I have brothers that have touched their women, their wives, and their wives want to start building. And this class was first structured strictly for men because it was in an all-man situation that it was built on. But we're going to expand it to touch women as well. So we're going to start building on these things, and these virtues are the key to entering the school. Learning these virtues, understanding these virtues, and being able to manifest them in your walk, in your talk, and the way you respond to life. Hopefully y'all got some out of this video. Hopefully my people that have been initiated into the Huru Shule are watching this video and leave some comments in the video and let me know if I missed a word or if I rearranged the virtue, because you know how we are about that. The virtue has to be right and exact. Peace and power. This is your big brother Psyche. Subscribe to the channel.